Hey, beautiful, welcome in. I am delighted to have you join us for a very special series of tarot and oracle readings honoring Black History Month. If this is your first video, I want to begin by sharing my inspiration and process for curating this series. But if you've already heard my spiel, you can use the timestamp in the caption below to skip straight to the reading. This series centers around a deck of cards that I've had for almost 2 decades. It is the African American Women Knowledge cards created by the Library of Congress. It was not created to be a spiritual deck. However, I've had the inclination for many years to use it as an oracle deck. And in February 2025, at the time that I'm recording this, I got the green light from my guides. So I cleansed the deck, I blessed it, and I modified it as I was guided to. And then I put out a call to the ancestors featured and celebrated in the deck to see who wanted to come forth and share messages of love, healing, and truth with me and my Café community. And from that call, we had 6 beautiful women ancestors respond, saying that they wanted to show up for us and share messages. And I've been spending time with these 6 beautiful women at my altar and just allowing their presence and their stories and their images really resonate and integrate and sink into my own psyche and spirit. And what you'll receive in each of these 6 videos is a message from one of these 6 ancestors. I begin with her image and her biography and any intuitive information, any intuitive insights that come through for me based on that information. And then I'll pull tarot and oracle cards to elaborate on the message and see what more we can learn from this beautiful ancestor. So go ahead and get comfy and cozy and get ready to fill your spiritual cup in communion with the ancestors. Greetings, dear ancestor Wilma Rudolph. We are grateful for your life and legacy, and we thank you for supporting us now with a message of love, truth, and healing. Wilma Rudolph, born in 1940. Of all the examples in modern sport of triumph over adversity, Wilma Rudolph stands as one of the most inspiring. At the age of 4, Rudolph was struck by polio, which paralyzed her left leg. It took 5 years of concerted effort before she could walk without a leg brace. She immediately took up basketball, eventually becoming a star player for her high school and competing in track and field events. At the 1960 Olympics in Rome, she won gold medals in the 100 and 200 meter events and anchored the 4x100, becoming the first woman triple Olympic gold medalist in track and field. She competed for 2 more years, continuing to amass numerous awards and honors. After retiring from competition, Rudolph married and had 5 children, taught school, and served in a variety of capacities to promote running, development of female athletes, and wider opportunities for Black youth. In 1981, she established the Wilma Rudolph Foundation, an organization dedicated to training young athletes. Wilma Rudolph. So intuitively, and what stands out to me just from the biography of Wilma Rudolph herself, as presented here from this African American Women Knowledge card deck, is the perseverance and the persistence and the patience and the effort to achieve a particular goal. The stamina, the strength, the grit, the faith that it must require to overcome something that was perceived to be an obstacle to a goal, to go forth and step into a role, step into a lane, step into an identity that on the surface seems like it's not possible, right? It seems like you weren't made for that destiny. It seems like that goal is too far-fetched. That dream, that reality is too far-fetched for someone like you. And yet Wilma Rudolph's faith in herself to say, no, I was given this dream for a reason. And as I've said in another video, Spirit, my creator, would not give me the dream without also giving me everything I need to fulfill the dream. And so there could be, for someone watching here or someone in the Café community, a dream that based on your current circumstances seems impossible. a vision for your life that based on your current circumstances seems too far-fetched. And this is inspiration and encouragement and an example of how, regardless of what your current reality and circumstances look like, you have to trust that if you were given the gift of a dream, the gift of a vision for your life, that it is possible for you. Okay? This was sports and athletics. For you, it could be any dream. It could be a dream of, creating a city that is an ideal city for diverse people to thrive. It could be so many things. You'll know, right? What or if there's a dream or a vision that if it were based on the assessment of where you are right now, it might seem like it would be impossible. And yet having that faith that if my creator gave me the dream, gave me the vision, there's something there. And sometimes it's not always about the dream and the vision itself. Sometimes it's about who you will become in the pursuit of that dream. It's about who you will become as you work towards and strive towards that vision, right? So in some instances, yes, the dream is absolutely 100% made to be manifest through you and by you in this lifetime. And for others of you, you were given a dream or a vision, almost like a carrot on a stick, to say, follow this path, not because of where it's headed, but because of who you will become along the journey. All right, let's pull from the Secrets of the Ancestors Oracle deck. See what additional elaboration we can get. Okay, and the card we have is 16, Chaos and Destruction. This is, it looks like the Tower card, but I think it might also be the Death card in this deck. But either way, whether it's chaos and destruction because of it's like a tower moment or a death or a transformation, this is not being distracted by the chaos and destruction around you. And you might be immersed in a situation that feels chaotic and destructive, and it can be hard to understand, to see, to believe that there's something else beyond this chaotic moment, that there's something else beyond this moment, this situation that feels like destruction, that feels like extreme loss, that feels like extreme pain or trauma. And so this card, coupled with the message from Wilma Rudolph, is saying it might seem like and feel like the worst thing that could possibly happen to you in the world, and yet it's not the end. There's a saying, I don't know who said it, I don't know if it's anonymous or not, but they said everything will be okay in the end, and if it's not okay, then it's not the end. That applies here. And so being struck with a disease like polio was probably very chaotic, very disruptive, probably felt like, or could feel like, right, potentially that your life is being destroyed. And yet having faith in those moments, having faith through that chaos, having faith through that destruction, that if you continue, if you don't give up, if you don't stop, if you live to see another day, that there is something better on the horizon, right? That there is triumph and victory in the future. Okay, let's get some tarot on this. And I'm using the Hoodoo Tarot deck. Yeah. How we can elaborate on this message provided to us in loving communion with the ancestor Wilma Rudolph. And it's okay if you feel fear during a moment of chaos and destruction. It's okay if you feel sadness and grief, but don't give up, right? Persist, 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 persevere, persevere. And we're sending you love, support, and healing energy if you are currently going through a moment of chaos and destruction. But the message most predominantly is to persist, to continue, because it will not always be chaos. It will not always be destruction. The chaos and destruction, as intense as it might feel and as all-consuming as it might feel in the moment, it's not all that there is. And it's certainly not all that there ever will be. Okay. Additional messages want to come forward here via tarot. I see a repeating card. Anything else? Okay. All right. We had the first card that fell out is the Ace of Cups. And then we had Gullah Jack, which also showed up in the Toni Morrison reading. And then we have the Three of Sticks. Yes. So let's start with this Ace of Cups. I love this Ace of Cups because it is like a burst of love. That's what the Ace of Cups could feel like. And so part of what I'm getting is just that our ancestor Wilma Rudolph just wants to send us love, wants to shower us with love, wants to say that you are loved through this period of chaos and destruction, that you are always loved and that you are love. Yeah. And on a more practical level, the Ace of Cups is a new emotional experience. And so this is likely to be what your life is opening up to if you persist and persevere through the chaos and destruction, is that it clears away and it creates space and it opens up room in your heart and your psyche and in your life and sometimes in your physical environment for a new emotional reality, a new emotional experience that is overflowing with love, abundant joy, and peace. Okay. And then Gullah Jack is the energy of self-sacrifice and the energy of courageously facing circumstances that you would not otherwise want to face, whether that be a period of waiting, a holding period, or chaos and destruction, right? There is, thinking about the lore of Gullah Jack, it's the Hanged Man in other tarot decks. But in this Hoodoo tarot deck, it leans more towards the idea of sacrifice and saying, I am worth it. This cause, this mission is worth seeing the mission through to its completion and not abandoning the mission just because it gets hard, not abandoning the dream just because it's getting hard right now, not abandoning the mission or the goal or the assignment on your life just because I'm in a difficult chapter, just because I'm in a difficult season, just because I'm not making progress, because I seem to be hitting a brick wall, because things seem to be falling apart instead of getting better. Persevering and persisting in the dream. And the Hanged Man and Gullah Jack in this sense can also be a symbol of faith, which again came out in the Toni Morrison message as well, that it requires faith to trust that though there's a hurdle, a stumbling block, a roadblock, a difficult period, a waiting period, things aren't moving forward, there's stagnation, I am going to remain. I'm going to remain steadfast, remaining steadfast. And the Three of Sticks, lovely enough, is the hope and the optimism to be able to see beyond this current context of chaos and destruction and to perceive what's on the horizon. To perceive what's on the horizon, the distant horizon. And even though it feels far, it fuels your faith because you witness it, you trust it, you know it's there. And even though the immediate environment, the immediate context, the immediate situation right here, right now is painful, chaotic, disruptive, stagnant, just difficult and hard, there's a glimmer, there's a glimpse of what more is possible, of what else is to come. And allowing that, holding to that knowledge, right? That this current situation is temporary, that there is something else available, there is something else possible, and not only possible, but there is something else coming. This is going somewhere. This is going somewhere. As long as I persist, remain steadfast, and continue moving towards that dream, moving towards that goal, I will reach it. That feels complete. Again, many thanks to our beautiful ancestor, Wilma Rudolph, for her life and legacy, and for communing with us now with this beautiful message of love, truth, and healing. I hope that this has in some way helped you to refill your spiritual cup, and I hope to see you in another video in this series. Take care. Much love.